evening. Reverend Dr. Michael McMorrow coming to you live from the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California, a place where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. So we're delighted to have you joining us on the love stream, and we're delighted to have some friends here with us. We're all spread out energetically here in the house as well. And so if this is your first time, welcome, and if you're a returning friend, welcome. So feel free to leave any notations in the chat. And if this is your first time visiting us, please hit the subscribe button and that notification bell, and you'll be notified whenever we're here live in our sanctuary. I'm joined tonight by our presider, Reverend Susie, and Michael is holding down the fort in the back with our tech stuff. And so why don't we just take a deep breath now and release. Just feel ourselves just allowing the day to fall away. Taking another deep breath. Let the shoulders drop, and just as we allow ourselves to anchor into this moment, this eternal now moment, as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So as Reverend Susie lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. I think I missed one. Did I forget Judaism? Okay. I think it was Judaism. So we light this next candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course, within our own hearts. And as Reverend Susie lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God.
Please join me in consciousness. But there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect, whole, and complete. That life is our life right here, right now. That life is the Granada Hills Center for Spiritual Living. We are so blessed for the opportunity to join together and come into meditation to quiet the body, the mind, the spirit, to be totally conscious that we are the divine in expression, which God is well pleased. We are blessed for our own Reverend Dr. Michael McMorrow, for he is leading his leading ship carries us forward in such a grand and glorious way that it makes it even a delight to be in the presence of this community. And in that knowingness that this is a sacred place on high, I know that all unfolds in perfect right order. And as I release my word into the law always says yes. And together we say, and so it is. I don't know if any of you here have taken any classes that go on here from time to time, but for the last 8 weeks, we've been doing a class called Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker, who was a minister of grand expression in the New York City, where our own Reverend Nancy had the opportunity to be a part of his congregation before he joined religious science. And in this class, and in all classes, there comes a time that someone will share something that makes you say, aha, that makes sense to me. I understand what they're saying, and it relates to me, and I need to understand it for myself. And in this group, we had prayer partners. And I asked my prayer partner to help me with something that this woman had brought to my attention, that our families sometimes give us ideas about what it is that we're going to become, or what it is that we should be, and what it is that might happen to us as we unfold. And I was so touched by that awareness that I too had something that I felt was in my family that might affect me. I come from a family of women that live a long time, a healthy long time. My mother's mother died at 94. My father's mother died at 94. My mother died at 94. And my 2 older sisters died at 94. But at the end, it wasn't as pleasant as it had always been, because they had been vital women, vital. So I called upon my practitioner to write a treatment for me. And what I did with that treatment is I changed it a little bit to reflect on me. And it might be something that you can say, hey, my family had told me this was going to happen. And I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to be that way. Whatever it is, I'm going to leave that spot blank so that you can fill in what it is that you might have carried from your family. And this is what the treatment says. I know that God is all there is, and that God and I are one, with God working through me, in me, as me. I claim right now that the heritage chain of whatever it is broken to my family. I will not develop in my life anything like that. I am so grateful and thankful knowing this truth. For this right action is taking place in my life right here, right now. And as I send this word to the law, I know the law has already made it so. And so it is. So remember that you can break whatever it was that they told you was going to happen, what's going to need to happen, what you shouldn't do, what you can't do. Break the chain and know the truth that you can do whatever it is. For with God, all things are possible. And so it is. Okay, we've got some major announcements happening. Not only do we have a picnic coming up, the picnic is going to be catered by the church. It's on the 8th of June, right here in a local park, and there's a sign-up sheet outside. We'd love to have you come, eat, play, and just have fellowship with all of us here at the center. Tomorrow night, there is a World Healing Full Moon meditation. And if you've seen that moon out there, it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So Thursday, the 23rd, right here at 7 o'clock, you can come and join that celebration, or you can go to Spiritual Unity Movement's website for Zoom. I got a laptop. I almost could do that now, huh? Teresa James is performing with her full band Friday, May 25th at 8 o'clock at Right Off Room in Studio City. She's we enjoy her on Sundays. If you have ever heard her, she's just delightful. And next Wednesday night, we're going to have a drum meditation by Burl. Thank you. Right here at 7 o'clock. There will be some drums provided, but if you have one of your own, bring it and join in on the fun. Drums can be very, very fun. Summer Music Camp is July 8th through July 8th through the 12th. Summer Theater Camp is 15th through the 19th. We would love for the congregation to help spread the word, the news about this happening. You can grab a flyer outside, and it's just one more thing that our community is doing. And this is pretty much being done by Reverend Nicole, who is an absolutely incredible minister here at the center. And with that, I'm done.
Thank you, Reverend Susie Andrews. So you can find Reverend Susie on our website too if you need some treatment work. She's available for that. And the picnic is on Saturday, June 8th, and there's going to be games and stuff. So it's actually being set up because I don't think any of the grown-ups are going to play games. So if you want to, so we're going to have like the water balloon toss and three-legged race. We're trying to make it like an old school, like a 4th of July kind of picnic. I don't know if you guys ever got to do those when you were a kid, but I did, and they were fun. And it's at the Northridge Rec Center, which is on LaMarche Street between Reseda. If you know where the Goodwill is, that's where LaMarche is, not that I ever go to the Goodwill. And Lindley. So it's a really nice park. It's an older established park, lots of shade trees and so forth. So, but we do need to know if you're coming so we can make sure the food is there. So hope you'll join us for that. It'll be a fun day. And it's Ginny Fox is actually doing the kids theater group, who's also does our youth Sunday effort along with others. But she is a longtime LA Unified teacher for youth theater. So we are really blessed to have her experience and her consciousness. She's great with the kids, and she really gets a kick out of doing it. So it is a week-long camp, so parents can drop their kids off and go play hooky for a few hours and know the kids are having fun and safe and growing in. Theater is great for building self-confidence, among other skills. That's that little promo. All right, so good to have everybody back. I don't know what I said last week, but sure got a lot of views on the on our channel, so I appreciate your support in that way. And let me just say that I also appreciate for those of you, many of you who tune in on the live stream have been supporting the community through your online giving. And so I just want to acknowledge this particular cadre, our Wednesday night group, whether you're here in the house or joining us online, in that support, because every little bit helps, right? So last week, I'm going to continue working with this book, The Places That Scare You, A Guide to Fearlessness in Difficult Times. Pema Chodron, who is a Buddhist teacher. I kind of report on Buddhism. I'm not a Buddhist, but the more I learn about it, I really appreciate it a lot, as far as its exploration really into the nature of thought through the activity of meditation. So it's a uniquely individual practice that still finds strength in the Sangha or in community as well. So it's a nice tie-in for what we do here in this Science of Mind Center. So last week we were talking about bodhicitta, and the importance of it as far as softening hearts. That the word citta means mind, but also heart and or attitude. Bodhi means awake, enlightened, or completely open. And so she writes that the Buddha said that we are never separated from enlightenment. Even at the times we feel most stuck, we are never alienated from the awakened state. And there's a couple things in that statement that I think we can relate to, because we have all, at times in our life, we have felt stuck. We can't, it feels like we can't gain any forward momentum or even traction sometimes in our life. That most of us have little milestones that we set for ourselves. Some of them are big things, like, in our career around promotions or so forth, or maybe in a relationship, to be married, to have children, so forth. But some of them can be seemingly small, like keeping a commitment to walk every day, right? To say no to Oreos one day at a time, whatever it is. So we've all got these little benchmarks that we work to. And so they're not the big deal difficult things, but they are great. It's like setting, like when you go to the gym, it's like setting the weights low, right? So that you can kind of work your way up to the heavier weights. That's what spiritual practice is to me, that I think, and certainly meditation as well. So this idea of building an awareness of bodhicitta and sharing it is a great practice, a practice to observe for ourselves, and certainly a practice for others as well. Because the other, Pema also likens this idea of the awakened heart-mind, the awakened attitude, or being completely opened, enlightened, to the soft spot in our heart. So being open-hearted, to not be afraid of the softer places within. And she talks about how bodhicitta exists on two levels. First, there is unconditional bodhicitta, an immediate experience that is refreshingly free of concept, opinion, and our usual all-caught-upness. It's something hugely good that we are not able to pin down even slightly, like knowing at gut level that there's absolutely nothing to lose. Second, there is relative bodhicitta, our ability to keep our hearts and minds open to suffering without shutting down. So those who train wholeheartedly in awakening unconditional and relative bodhicitta are called bodhisattvas, or warriors. Not warriors who kill and harm, but warriors of non-aggression who hear the cries of the world. These are men and women who are willing to train in the middle of the fire. Training in the middle of the fire can mean that warrior bodhisattvas entering challenging situations in order to alleviate suffering. It also refers to their willingness to cut through personal reactivity, self-deception, and to their dedication to uncovering the basic, undistorted energy of bodhicitta, or enlightened mind, heart-mind. So, wherever we are, she writes, we can train as a warrior. The practices of meditation, loving kindness, compassion, and joy, equanimity, are our tools. With the help of these practices, we can uncover the soft spot of bodhicitta. We will find that tenderness in sorrow and in gratitude. We will find it behind the hardness of rage and in the shakiness of fear. It is available in loneliness as well as in kindness. So Richard Rohr also talks about if there's any value in suffering, it's in that suffering opens us up, right? That we're not brokenhearted as much as our hearts are broken open. And Holmes also says that the world has learned all it can from suffering. So this presents us with an interesting challenge, right? So how to practice loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, without inviting strife or other suffering, right? And yet, even at the same time, if it presents itself, to not run away from it, but to step into the middle of the fire and know that there's value in that, if in nothing else, to realizing loving kindness and compassion in the greater world. So it's, when I think about religious thought, one of my common themes here is that there's this continuum of consciousness as we, emerged out of the caves into hunter-gatherers and so forth, and created these stories that helped us to understand the world and our place in it. That the ancient Hebrews emerged out of the desert with this code of ethics. The 10 Commandments that kind of raised the bar for human behavior, right? And then Jesus came along and said, well, it's not just law, there's also love. That love is the ultimate expression, love of God and your neighbor as yourself. And then in the Buddhist practice that says, which actually preceded Jesus, but basically it's saying, you're it, man, you're it. So you want to change the world, you need to change yourself, which is what all the great avatars teach ultimately. So that's our work here, and one of the things that we work with, one of our tools is meditation, so that we can create space that allows us to sidestep reactivity, those knee-jerk reactions that happen before we even know it, and allow us to be more responsive. That's a really good start, and it is a start. So that's what we get to practice, and I'm delighted that you are all here to practice that with me, that you're here online, and we get to practice this together. So let's just start by taking a deep, conscious breath. And as I strike the gong, just allow yourself to feel yourself, if you can, if it's available to you, see if you can align with the vibration, right? The eternal Om, that there's an Om to the tone of the gong that brings us present to this moment. Following the breath. Which simply means we're paying attention to the movement of the breath in the nostril. There's a resonance even still. The gong. And as we focus our attention to the movement of the breath, the flow of the breath in the nostril, the chatter subsides. Just observing the flow of the breath. The ebb and flow. As night follows day. So remaining focused on the breath. Bring our attention to the bottom of our feet. So however you are positioned, staying focused with the breath and attentive to sensation in the feet, whether anchored on the floor or cross-legged. We allow ourselves, staying focused, anchored in the breath, to monitor sensation in the legs, either simultaneously, one at a time, releasing any places where we may find tension. Into the ankle, up the calf, into the knee. If we find tension, we just make a little slight adjustment into the upper thigh, hamstrings, sit bones. Take a couple of breaths here. The root chakra, energy, fire. Bring our attention to a spine that is straight and erect, but free of tension. We're using a chair. We feel the support of the chair. Shoulders back, chin slightly down. Balanced over the sit bones, and we breathe. To the sit bones, up into the torso. We allow the tummy to rise and fall easily and effortlessly. Feel the full breath. In fact, let's take a deep breath here and just allow that tidal breath that's just been hanging around there all day. Just let that go. Taking a deep breath together and Release. We're letting it all out. Inhale. Feeling both the lungs and the tummy. Hold it slightly, then release. And on that release, we just feel ourselves dropping deeper to a deeply relaxed state. One more time on the inhale. And the exhale. Feeling the shoulders drop, feeling the face drop, feel the tummy empty. Focusing again on the breath. On the inhale. On the exhale. Shoulders are back and dropped. On the next exhale, let your face release. The eyelids are soft. The lips, the nose are soft. One more deep breath together. And we release. Following the exhale now. For about 10 minutes or so. Staying with the breath. Bringing our attention to the inhale. Knowing that the light, the love, the energetic of bodhicitta is everywhere present. It is within. It flows all around us, so we're just breathing that in now, breathing in the light, breathing in the love. Breathing in the field of infinite possibilities of love, which we are always swimming in and expressing as. So we call forth that flame of the divine within the heart. And with each in-breath of light and love, fanning that flame, filling our heart center, fanning that flame into a fire of love and light, a fire that illuminates rather than consumes, that radiates, that expands with each in-breath. We feel the ebb and flow the same way that we would inflate a balloon. Each in-breath growing exponentially in its expansion, extending now beyond the body torso, so that side to side, front to back, top to bottom, we're now sitting in this globe of light and love, allowing it to extend even further. This field of light and love filling the very room in which we occupy presently. So here in this sanctuary, this field of light and love in this present moment, joining with the energetic of all the thoughts, all the prayers, all the song, all the meditation generated in this space since the late 70s, feeling the energetic of that, extending this field of light and love, joining our brothers and sisters on the live stream, inviting their energetic into this field, into our hearts. Even those joining us later, knowing that the Spirit is not bound by time nor space. So we all inhabit this eternal now moment. So from this field, this energetic of light and love, we allow ourselves to align with the energetic of this tone. We know as we, using this notion of vibration, that we know there is within us an eternal vibration of light and love, the eternal vibration of the divine, expressing as perfection itself. So at the smallest aspects of being, every atom, every molecule, every cell, every organ, every muscle, every bone, every sinew, tendons, all the various biological body systems, every neuron, all the synapses, everything that has anything to do with the biological body is now aligned, attuned, and expressing as a pattern of perfection, expressing itself as radiant good health, expressing itself as strength and flexibility, as resilience, as we experience the body temple as our vehicle for moving forward in this life in which we consciously bring forth and create opportunities to express loving kindness with our fellows and with ourselves. So with this, we take a deep breath and release. As we turn now our attention now to the breath and to the mind, as we allow ourselves to open up now to the creative impulse of life itself, as we recognize and know that there is this field of mind intelligence with which we are thinking into and thinking with, that we are allowing now the creative impulse of life to download within us, or to updwell from within us, to anchor new and creative ideas for any seeming challenge, any that may, or situation that may be challenging us in any way, that we know that the solution is already in place. And so we are opening up to the gift of intuition and guidance from the divine, that where the crooked ways are made straight, that we are capturing even now new and creative and dynamic ideas. Even the creative expression of life itself is anchored deep within our psyche to be recalled either simultaneously, later in the dream state, or even throughout the week. So knowing this with confidence, we take a deep breath, we release. We now know finally that in this open-hearted state, in this, the softness of this moment of this healing and revealing meditation, that we allow ourselves a moment to extend a loving kindness and compassion to suffering in the world of any kind, to the combatants in all the various regions of the world, that we know even now, for the combatants or even the leaders, those who lead them, that there is an awakened heart-mind activity even now, that there is a softening and a call to seek first to understand rather than to be understood, to allow a sense of turning away from the aspects of life that are fearful, and to instead step into courageously into ways of peaceful abiding with our neighbors. And so as we know this in the macro world, bringing it back home to within ourselves, that we know for those, for any warring places within ourselves, we just take a deep breath and allow the light and love of the Most High to bring its light to any of those places within us that may be feeling a bit of confusion, lack of clarity, or even shadow, that we know that it takes but one light to curse the darkness. So those places within us that may be feeling a need to be cared for, to be attended to be held, to caress with loving concern, with a deep sense of loving kindness, compassion, equanimity. That we breathe in the light and love of the Most High into these places even now, and release. And so from this healed state within ourselves, we are now feeling a sense of wholeness, a sense of connectedness with ourselves and with our fellows. That we know ultimately then that from this place of conscious union with each other, with the one and with each other as the one, we recognize and know that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life. The creative impulse of life itself. It is a living intelligence, the wellspring of love itself, and all that we are is an expression of this infinite power and presence. And so from this place, and we launch now our own cares, concerns, intentions, aspirations by taking a deep breath. We release, knowing that we are releasing this mind activity into that aspect of the mind or the divine itself that knows only to say yes as the law of its own being. Yes, my beloved, yes. In you I am well pleased. It is done, it is so. So I know further for those of us here in the sanctuary that we arrive home safely and in good order. And as for all of us as we make our way through the rest of this evening, finding our way to our beds, that the head hits the pillow, we drift off easily and effortlessly to sleep, sleeping deeply, restfully, dreaming sweet dreams, that we awaken feeling fully restored and alive, that we awaken with a sense of excitement for the day to come, with a vim, a vigor, and a zest for life, for we know excitedly that this is the day the Lord has made, and we go out and make it happen by co-creating with that infinite power. So taking one more deep breath for that final release, just letting it go, letting it be so. Together we affirm this by saying, and so it is. Amen. Again, for those of you still joining us, thank you for hanging in there. I hope you got something out of this meditation. If you did, maybe even share it with your friends and see what they have to say about that. And thank you for those of you joining us here in the house. So if you are joining us online and this is your first time, we're local here in the 818 in the San Fernando Valley. We meet at 9 a.m. in person and 10:30 in person. And on the live stream this week, we have the wonderful Teresa James, who, as we mentioned earlier, will be at the Write-Off Room. And you know what? She's really fantastic on Sunday, but this girl brings it in the club. So treat yourself to life and check her out on Friday evening at the Write-Off Room. Until then, know that you're loved, and we'll see you next time.